Hey, what's up, everybody? BDF 44 coming into another video. All right, so a little update on myself. It's like noon. I'm all showered up and ready to go. Just got to throw on the clothes. It's only gonna cost like $8 to get down there, so that's not bad at all. Actually, I could walk it if I really start leaving the house now. It wouldn't be a problem to walk it, but I'm probably not gonna do that. In fact, I'm definitely not gonna do that. For those who are wondering what the heck I'm talking about, court. I got to go to court today, Inglewood Courthouse, 1:30, for the second showing of my case in regards to this apartment facing eviction. And they pushed. They didn't push. They put something on my. They served me something letting me know that I would have to be there today. And what they put in it was one little line that said possession of the property is not going to be a problem. So I'm hoping that they will honor that and allow me to stay here while trying to come to some kind of conclusion to help them get paid. That is what I want to do. I would love to come to some conclusion that doesn't force me to show my hand in regards to the things that need to be done in this apartment that haven't been done, because I don't feel good about that. To be completely honest with you, I would feel a lot better about that if I thought I had a legitimate gripe. Now, my gripe is legitimate as it pertains to myself, based on, I'm not capping about my mental health. I'm not capping about what's kept me in here and how miserable I've had a time dealing with this, and how badly I would like to not feel whatever I'm feeling, to have made good decisions. But I also understand that, there were some things here that should have been done that would have made my living here easier, I guess, or whatever. So it's not my mindset to act as if I've been begging them to hurry up and get in here and fix that stuff, because that's not the case. The reality was my anxiety allowed for me to take on different things that didn't work in my apartment just to keep people out of it. I ain't had a fridge in this house in about 4 months, and a part of the reason why I never bought a fridge in the first place is because I had anxiety about having it delivered. It's the truth. So it's like, people gotta understand that, yes, I do feel like I was in the wrong as it pertains to a person is supposed to pay their rent, and if you don't, then the business side of it is, the agreement is broken. Yes, but what I'm saying is, when I took on that agreement, and when I was engaging in living in this apartment, the first 8 years of living here, 7 years, however long it's been 8 years. So I'd say the first 6 years of being here, I wasn't delinquent on my rent for basically 6 years. And so for me, it's like something really bad happened to me, and it was within my head that I wasn't able to snap out of it. That's all it was, and when I say something bad, it means that my mind just started tripping. It wasn't necessarily a traumatic moment. It just, over time, I've always had these mental health concerns, and so on and so forth. It just got ruptured this go round with a couple of tragedies and a couple of things that just didn't fall in my favor. I just lost myself and my will to keep working, and I've yet to find it. But I have been working on different things, and I don't want to talk in circles. You guys know what I'm about and what I've been doing here. You can see it all throughout my channel, how much I've been working. But as it pertains to what is needed and how to pay it, I just ain't had the temperament to do the first thing about earning a dollar. I haven't had the desire to do the first thing about pandering to anybody. It's just been a whole lot of staying away from anything that has to do with money, staying away from anything that has to do with trying to reincorporate myself back into the working world as a security guard, and just holding on to these shares, hoping that they would take care of all of that for me, so I wouldn't have to go through what it looks like it may be ahead, which is trying to get back to just a foundational space financially after hitting rock bottom hard. That's where we're at. And so the fears that come with that are natural, even if you don't have anxiety, even if you don't have mental health concerns. When you're dealing with what I'm dealing with, it's gonna burden you heavily. And for me, it's just like, you would think that fight or flight would take over, right? But I guess not, as it pertains to the sacrifices being too much, because I'm still very much comfortable in a space that caused all of this in the first place. So when I go down there, I really don't know what I should want for myself, other than some grace to not be kicked out of my apartment, of course, but most importantly, like, where does this end for me? What happens now for me is the question. if we're going to work out a deal, then I have to be able to pay for it. How the hell am I going to do that? And so I don't have any answers for these questions, man. My plan was to try to get a psych eval and hope to God from there that I would be able to qualify for disability, since I did not qualify for unemployment. Disability is something that I need. But you got to be certified for certain things to even qualify, and those certain things have been a psych eval, for which I turned down an opportunity to do because it cost too much to get there. So it's like, that's not a good excuse not to get help for yourself, for those out there watching me. But I think it was the excuse that I engaged in that kept me in the house. And so, you know, I guess for me, it's like, all right, we go down there, we deal with what we have to deal with. I don't know the first thing about this. I know if you go to trial and you lose, they get to kick you out for 7 days. In 7 days, they get to pull you out your apartment. So I can't allow this to go to trial, even though I feel like I have legitimate evidence that shows that I should probably be here. It doesn't directly correlate to the truth, which is something that matters to me, which is I didn't pay them because they didn't fix stuff. I don't know how the world feels about circumstances like this. I think the world just automatically just walks into the space where, hey, I have this leverage, I'm going to use it. That's smart in this world. But I just don't believe in legitimately obeying the God that I pray to, and then when it plays out the way that it does, I use leverage and sin to try to make it work. That's not what God put me in this position to feel so strongly about holding these shares, just to turn around and do some old devious stuff to keep what it is that I'm not due to have, based on the agreement being broken and me not paying. So it's like, to keep myself from going through trauma, will I be forced to have to do that? Will I just don't you do that and then regret that I didn't? When they say, well, you know, you got 1 month with the agreement and you got to fork over $3,000, and my family tells me they ain't gonna give me the money. So there, you know, that type of worst case scenario is like, you know what I'm saying? What the hell am I supposed to do? I don't know what to do. I'm used to being in the house by myself for years, not just as long as I've been here, for longer than that. Since I was a child, I've been doing it. And I'm not mad at anybody, you know, it is what it is. I did this. I let myself get like this. I lived every single day of my life feeling anxious about whatever the hell I felt, and as a result, I just ended up being this guy. And, you know, the only solution I really had was to die, honestly. It was the only solution I ever really gave myself in regards to dealing with this. It's like, yo, if it gets that bad, we're out. But now that we're here, I got a relationship with God, I got art, I got all this different stuff to channel, and the voice that comes with it, all this different stuff I don't want to check out. But I mean, it's just the only plan I really ever had. It's the only plan I ever had. So it's like, what am I supposed to do? I don't know. But I do value my voice, and I've been praying a lot, and I think what came to me was just, you know, don't walk away with egg on your face. What does that mean to me? Well, every time I didn't apply faith, I walked away feeling stupid. And anytime I actually believed that voice inside of me that told me the worst case scenario was coming, that variable just never manifested. As I was saying in the video before the last one I made, the only thing that ever served me was to distract me and put me in positions to coerce myself away from God. The realities of my circumstances are whatever they are, but the reality is also that I have a relationship with God that has helped me get this far. If I would not have had that relationship, I don't think I would have ever found the apartment in the first place. I think it was a miracle that ultimately made this happen. So it's going to be a miracle that keeps it going, or it's going to be a miracle that pulls me from it, because at this point it's going to take all of that to do all of that. That's what I'm certain of. It's going to take all of that to do all of that, because there's nothing going to get me out this house but the necessity to do so. That's what I've come to terms with, which is why I'm actually looking forward to going to the courthouse, because I get to go outside. I'm going to get to walk down the street and feel some sunshine on my back for the first time since the last time I went to the court. Like, that's what mental illness has done to me. So it's like, I'm looking forward to this because it's going to force me out the house. I'm looking forward to this because it's going to allow me to go buy some wings from the grocery store or something on the way home. And then from there, hopefully with whatever takes place today, some type of Eureka would just pop up in my head, or maybe it would force me to have a conversation that would lead to something with my family or something. Obviously, I expect to have to call my family when I talk to those lawyers. But, it's like, what the hell? How'd it get this bad, yo? But this is what happens when you try to take on too much by yourself. And that's what happened. I tried to do what I needed to do alone. I didn't care nothing about bringing in any help until it was needed. And so that's the truth of it. Now I got to go deal with that. And I think with all the things that I've been given, if I'm to trust my instincts, I still feel like the Lord is firmly in place to take care of what needs to be taken care of as it pertains to myself. It's one of those things where it's like, when you meditate and you get confirmation, or you get energy, and you get understandings, they will lean you into a certain direction. I know the difference because I've been warned on high about doing something I was doing. More than once, actually. This has happened more than once, where I had gotten a direct, word into my subconscious or into my consciousness, whether that this, whatever it is I was doing, needed to stop, or it was going to be something. And I tell you that when I didn't heed that warning the first time, that something came. It happened. It really happened. And it wasn't small. And I didn't tell nobody what it was, and I ain't going to tell y'all now, but it took place. Because he told me to stop that. If you don't stop that, it's going to happen. I ain't listened. 3 years' time, it happened. And what I'm telling you is, the second time he came around, hit me with that, it was probably about a year ago. Maybe a little less than a year ago. Where I had walked down the wrong path, frustrated in my isolation and mental, whatever you call this crap. And he came back, that same energy, that same voice came back to me and said, you're going to have to stop that. You're going to have to really stop that. It wasn't no punishment. There wasn't no, if you don't, you're going to, it wasn't that. It was more so, yeah, you got to stop that. And so it was like, the energy was different. It was like, I'm not angry at you this time for what you've done. I know exactly why you did it, and I know exactly that you don't want to do it. And I'm going to help you stop, because it's not a warning to get you to stop necessarily needed here. It's just a reminder that this is still something I don't appreciate, and you are to stop doing it. And my reaction to that was not to keep doing it like I did last time. No, it was to, okay, God, now stopping this is something that I want to do, because I don't want the consequences to come with what it is that comes with disobeying you. So how do I stop what I'm doing? And sure enough, that was the answer. The question was the answer, because that's how it works with God. It pertains to what I've seen. It's not that he's going to then give you an answer that will help you apply that. For me, he just helped me stop doing it. I eventually started doing other things. I eventually started realizing, I am happier when I'm on the right side of God. This does keep me away from him, and therefore, he don't have to warn me no more. He already punished me. I know the hidden wisdom. I fell back into this out of pain, and I don't want this pain, and nor do I want the consequences that come from engaging in the energy I am in reaction to that pain. So what do I got to do? Change my way around. Change what I'm doing. Heed what he's saying, and then from there, ask him to help me stop. And then over the course of that, I learned that I could ask him to help me stop doing things. Or I could ask him to help me start doing things like he did with my workouts and this push-up regiment that I got going on that you guys know, I told you a million times, came from that same voice. I was sitting on the floor miserable, depressed and sad about something that I've healed from since. But he told me, why don't you just get on the floor and do 5 push-ups? And I have done them, and I'm happy. I did push-ups every time I went to the restroom. Now, I think I've told you guys that's how that goes. And it's like, that was what my chest needed. The kid who had man breasts all his life, who wanted to wear a towel around his neck to keep from people seeing it. That's what the Lord did for me in my older age, for an area that I had been praying long to have strengthened. I'm still not where I'm going, but I'm further along because of that regiment that I haven't deviated from, that came from a voice that came into my head telling me to start that, stop that, and sit here and wait for the squeeze. Same voice, same energy, same prayer. And as I say to you right now, I feel the energy of that same voice telling me this confirmation is fine to speak to you. I'm feeling it as I say it. Still him. Still him. None of it was not God. None of it. Now, did it meant to benefit me in the way that I intended? No. Just as my friend Kay keeps telling me, God's plan over mine. He knows what comes with what. I don't know what comes with what. He may give me exactly what I want, and it may not lead to exactly what is best. I can't work on my own understanding and timing as it pertains to that. Because when I do, I end up falling into the confusion that allows me to take my pound of flesh like Azalea Banks and ultimately coerce myself into situations that give me these consequences that I do not like experiencing. You see what I'm saying? All of it comes together because it's all relevant. It's all about energy management, trusting God, and then from there, allowing Him to guide you to spaces that allow you to be a friend to your future. That's what I didn't allow. I allow myself to be a friend of my own future, so as a result, I need the Lord to come get me out of the hell I created for myself based on just a couple of bad conditionings and His intention upon my life simultaneously. Because if I wasn't first conditioned for this, just like Azalea, if I would have been a better person when I walked into that show, as I talked about in that video, if she would have been more willing to embrace good energy by way of her spirit before it even happened, it wouldn't have hit her so bad as to make her strike on a day like this. Gotta be better to deserve better. It ain't just you being there and then from there you deserve better. You got to actively work on that. And so that's the difference between who I am going forward and who I've been that's put me in this position. I'm ready to actively work on improving my energy so that I'm not coercing the spaces where I need to pay for it later on. Because when later on comes around, guess what? It ain't fun at all. So that's where I'm at with it. It's like, yo, I want the best of reactions to my circumstances. I was telling you guys earlier, I think I was saying to you guys, or maybe in the shower as I was praying, I'm happy with where my body is as it pertains to the hard work that I put in and what I'm seeing. You guys would not believe me if I told you this, but it hasn't been too many times in life where that has been the case for me. For anything. Put in work, get the results, happy with the results. It's always me managing my effort, managing what I'm willing to put in. And as a result, I never get what I want out of it. I always end up getting the short end of the stick of barely making it in an apartment like this as opposed to something better, because I always put minimal effort in because of a desire to not receive nothing for hard work put in. But guess what? Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? My worst fear in regards to that is in front of me because of the share situation. Because of the AMC. It's exactly what happened. The very thing that I'm talking about, that application of thought, is what it is that I have to survive through right now. And so it's like, effort sometimes don't turn into nothing. But the practice of applied effort does turn you into someone that can apply more effort going forward and is less likely to be hell-bent on effort meaning so much. Because you're going to always put in more effort as you learn that you appreciate what effort does for you, not just for the consequences of what you're trying to do in that effort. And so as I've come to understand this in regards to my practice in life, just working out on my body, I've seen that getting through them days where you weren't getting those results, getting through those days where your body didn't feel like you really want to do it, getting through days like today where you felt a little too stressed, a little too sad to actually focus on the work. But I did it anyway. After I'd finished that therapy session, I came over there and I did my squat regimen. And it didn't take 2 hours. It took 1 hour and 15 minutes. And I did an extra 2 sets on top of that. I got all the way to 95, my career high, today. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, that's the type of pride that I want to be able to carry forward and also bring to you so that you can carry it forward within your circumstances. I am often the person that allows stress to keep me from working hard, or keep me from working smart, or keep me from just being able to work, period. But there are ways around that. And I know it starts with a belief in God that it can be done. And then from there, the desire to see yourself be pleased with the work after putting it in. That formula will help you apply work, even if you don't necessarily get what you're supposed to get from that effort in the end. You will know that your hard work can pay off in other ways, and you just take that application of hard work and apply it to something else that will pay off. And that's the challenge. So for me, it's like I'm looking forward to being strong enough to absorb what it is that I don't feel I'm strong enough to absorb. I'm looking forward to being able to put in more effort and it come to nothing without it breaking me. I'm looking forward to putting in effort and it coming to something just the same, and not allowing anything otherwise to keep me from believing in the effort necessary to build something worth building. Because at the end of the day, it's the lack of building that has left me in positions to need help. I need this, I need that, I need this. Not conditioned for that. Oh my God, I'm so weak for this. It's because you didn't necessarily believe in the hard work of doing what was necessary to break that condition. And that ain't have nothing to do with holding shares. That had to do with holding myself hostage in this house. Which is why I want the hedgies and those on the other side of this battle to understand every time I speak that you haven't defeated me with your actions. That you haven't defeated my spirit in regards to running that share count down to $3.40. I'm not moved. If I was a millionaire, I'd buy a lot of shares. I'm not moved. You didn't do this to me. Not as it pertains to my mental health and what it is that I allowed to happen while this movement was taking place. No, friends, they didn't. They coerced me into why I don't have enough money to take care of myself in this circumstance, but it is definitely not them that broke me into this mindset. I was like this beforehand. Sorry. For those who want to take credit for my downfall, there is no downfall. I was always down here. That's the point. So that's what I'm here to say. I still want people to believe in what it is that they believe in as it pertains to the faith that you're applying. If you're seeing what I'm applying not work out, it just means that the calendar hasn't met the day from which that's to take place just yet. It don't mean that what it is I'm waiting for ain't coming. It is. So is the strength to wait on it in more productive and godly ways that don't coerce me into spaces where I'm sitting alone without help where needed, or sitting without in circumstances where it's not necessary to sacrifice. That was old me. That was a me that found himself today unhappy. And that's okay. Because I know the path to what's going to make that all go away is through God. And the application of hard work where it is best applied, not just empty like it is that I would otherwise do if I were to get a job and never leave it. Or get a job and just be there like I did with the last one. Just be there until I couldn't just be there no more. You know, and that's the point. When there was no production, no works, nothing, I was just here. I was going to work, coming home here, video games for 6 hours, 5 hours here, nothing, no one. Same isolation, just less production. So I have improved. I've jumped in major ways in the process of going through these last couple of years where things have been really troubling. I've developed myself in some ways that I can be proud of, and I move forward with that, hoping to apply it in some new areas necessary, while asking for grace on high to just sort it all out and work out the weaknesses within so that I can be the man that ultimately will be best for having my voice in this camera. So that's the challenge, man. Be better. It's 12:30ish, no, 12:20 right now. Got to be there at 1:30, so it's almost time. It's almost time for me to get up and go see what the Lord has in store for my day, remembering that prayers have already been prayed, confirmation has already come, and anything that tells me what's to come is not accurate. If anything, is meant to be inaccurate purposefully, to coerce me into fears that otherwise are not necessary until truth is revealed, for which that fear would be necessary. Until then, it's just my mind playing tricks on me, coercing me into the same sickness that ultimately is making me worse. And I don't welcome it. My name is BDF 44. I thank you all for watching.